Well, hey guys, good morning. Big A coming to you from the Station Camp Greenway. I even got my smoothie with me this morning. I'm fired up, ready to go, trying to stay healthy. I know you guys are doing that as well. Hey, I'll tell you about a really enjoyable evening I had yesterday. Our church, Long Hollow Baptist Church, is doing a 40-year history. They're doing a video. And so the videographer called a few of us last night and he said, hey, why don't we get together over at Alan Lindsay and Mitzi Lindsay's house with a couple of others, Charlie Haygood and Terry Haygood, Robin and myself. Alan built a fire out in his backyard and the film crew came and we just sat for 2.5 hours reminiscing, talking about the history of Long Hollow Baptist Church. I think Alan's been there since it started, and Charlie came shortly thereafter, and Robin and I have been there about 25, 26 years. And it's been just an amazing adventure. But here's the reason I want to talk to you about this. I think it's applicable to all of our lives. We sat there and reminisced about when we were small. We had about 250 members. And quite honestly, I loved it then. It was intimate. I knew everybody. Everybody knew me. We knew exactly what to expect. We didn't push the upper limit challenge in any area of our lives. And to be honest with you, it was pretty comfortable. I mean, it was like pretty cool until Brother David Landreth showed up on the scenes and he blew everything out of the water. And it was amazing, that adventure. I look back and think of the scary times. And I was like, man, I don't know if I want this thing to grow because I like it. I like it small and intimate. And we know everybody and nobody's in our way and we're not changing anything and we're not stretching ourselves in any direction. Why don't we just sit here and kind of coast? One of the stories that David used to tell when he played basketball, he said they would run a play where they would get ahead 3 or 4 points and they'd go to the other end. This was before the shot clock. And they would run the clock out. They would just throw the ball back and forth. And he said, I'll tell you right now, we're not doing that at Long Hollow. We're not going to run the clock out. We're going to go for it. And as I sat there and thought about it, now here we are, 6,000, 7,000 members. And I'm like, I don't know 90% of the people. But here's what I do know. 1,000 people made professions for Christ last year as a result of that growth. And I'm like, golly, like what is the most beneficial thing? Would it have been for me to just sit there and be comfortable? Or is it really about other people? And that's what we sat there and talked about last night. Is it all about you or is it about everybody else? Then I started selfishly thinking about my business. 8 years ago, Robin and I decided to retire out of the construction industry. And I was sitting in my mastermind group the following Wednesday morning. Dan Miller looked at me and he said, hey, big boy, what's up now? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, what are you going to do now? I said, nothing. I'm going to go to the Caribbean and sit on the front porch of one of those tiki huts. And he started laughing and he said, that's the most selfish thing I've ever heard you say. I said, what do you mean, man? I've been working since I was 13. I'm ready to relax. I'm ready to take it easy. He said, yeah, what I mean by that is you got enough for yourself. God bless the rest of you. I hope you make it. And he said, you need to coach, you need to reach out and help other people accomplish their goals and dreams. And that's what we set out to do. And we've grown our mastermind group. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm going to be totally transparent. A couple of years ago, I thought this is enough. I mean, like, I'm just going to sit here and run the clock out. We're just going to have these 7, 8, 9, 10 mastermind groups and we're just going to enjoy ourselves. And then I started thinking about, is that really the right thing? Is it really about me or is it about the life changes that's happening in the lives of men now from 8 different countries? I mean, is it really about me and just meeting my financial needs and my personal objectives? Is that what it's about? And honestly, I felt a little bit selfish about it. And I started thinking about other businesses. Dave Ramsey's a good friend of mine and Dave and I have been together since Dave started. Recently, I asked him, I said, man, have you not got enough? I mean, why do you keep going? You're on 700 radio stations and you've got almost 1,000 employees and here you are about to build a new building. I mean, like, darn, how much do you need? He said, it's not about me. He said, there are millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of illiterate financial people out there today that need to know how to manage their finances. and we're changing lives. They have 12 million listeners a week now. What if he had sat on the porch and said, hey, no, 6, 7 radio stations is enough. Sharon and I can make all the money we need, and we're going to run the clock out. What about Dan Miller? Dan Miller is amazing, 48 days to the work you love. Dan's done really well over his career, but he said, man, there's so many other people that need a push. You know, Wisdom Meets Passion was a book that he wrote recently, teaching people what to do, and millions of people have read that book now. What if he'd just said, no, you know, a little bit of money's enough? My point in saying this is it's not always about us. We can't make the decision to limit the access, because when we do that, then it is just about us. But when we say it's about other people, it's about reaching their needs, their goals, now we've got a servant's heart. Now we've got somebody that really wants to reach out. David Green is Hobby Lobby. Think about what he's doing now. The guy's got I don't know how many stores, tons of stores, made millions, tens, hundreds of millions of dollars. Now he's taking that money and he's buying depressed property in cities around the world, fixing it up, taking the appraised value against his taxes, giving it back to the city. Everybody wins. He makes money by doing it. He couldn't do that if he'd have said, no, I'm going to be happy with just 3 stores because it'll meet my needs and my requirements. What about Bill Gates? What about the service industry that he serves? What if he just said, hey, I'm only going to sell this to 100 people? And now everybody wouldn't have Microsoft. I could go on and on and on. The list is endless. Well, let me ask you a question. How do you decide? It would have been much easier for Robin and I to just say, hey, we're going to sit on the porch, collect our check, hang out with the grandkids, and we've met our objectives, we've met our goals. But it's really not about just us. It's about the other people as well. What about your service? What about your product? How do you decide where you quit? Have you limited the access, or are you really focusing on the community? Are you really interested in the welfare and the benefit of other people? Listen, last night with Alan and Charlie and our wives, it taught me a valuable lesson to reevaluate and think, you know what, if we had stayed complacent and it was comfortable and it was all about us, we'd still be sitting there on the corner of Long Hollow Pike with 250 members. But now we got a pastor, Robbie Gallaty, has come in. He says, hey, we're going for it. Same mentality as Brother David. He said, we're going to rock this thing. Listen, Jesus had 12 disciples. I'm glad he didn't make it limited just for them, because he said, this is the good news. I want you to go to the ends of the world and tell everybody, because it was about them and not about ourselves. We got to be careful when we limit access, because it's not always about us. I know I've talked longer today than I normally do, but this message really resonated with me after Charlie and Alan and I and our wife sat around that fire for 2.5 hours talking about the benefits for others, not ourselves. Well, guys, I guess I better get back after it. I ain't got long. I'm Big A, coming to you live this morning from the Station Camp Greenway. You guys go out and crush it. We'll see you.